Hi everyone. Today we will talk about product management in general. What a product manager role is, what skills he should have, what mindset, what attitude he should have. So these are some of the elements of product management. I have been approached by a lot of my colleagues, my friends and many aspiring product managers in the past trying to understand these elements of product management. I hope this video would help all those aspiring product managers so that they can understand what actually is required from product management roles, right? And I hope this video will help you to make a good career decision for your careers in future. So let's start off then, right? So let's divide this into two categories, right? The first category is the mindset and the attitude you need to have to become a successful product manager. The second one is the skills you need to possess to become more successful in product management roles. So let's try to understand the first category, the mindset and the attitude. Product manager roles are very, challenging and very demanding, and it gets complicated as you move on in product management. Example for that is, why do I say it gets very complicated, is because you need to deal with many functions within the organization, right? Say it engineering, some companies call it as R&D, manufacturing, operations, marketing, sales, regulatory, quality, supply chain, technical support. So there are a lot of these functions, and your product actually touches on all these functions. So problems could be from product itself, product features, problems could be from the process itself, from all these functions, and problems could be with respect to people from all these functions. So you can have some level of guess already, like how complicated can it get at some point of time, because end of the day, anything goes wrong on a product, I think product manager owns that responsibility of something going wrong. So it's quite challenging role, it's very demanding, and it gets complicated, so you need to have the natural interest in the product management. That's very important. I can actually share this through an example. I have seen some of my colleagues who are really passionate about technology, architecture design, technical designs, working with the engineering team, coming out with an innovation, right? Working with the people. So that is their natural interest. So at some point of time, if you want to get into product management or a product manager role, you need to have this natural interest coming on your way, and it would definitely help you a lot. That would be the first stepping stone, I would feel, that is required. The second element, entrepreneurship. Having a mindset and attitude of an entrepreneurship is very, very critical for the success of product manager role, right? What are the things that is required for an entrepreneurship, right? Resistance, resilience, right? Sense of ownership, sense of urgency. Then defining the problem statement accurately and clearly. I think these are some of the elements that is required for an entrepreneurship. So sense of ownership. Why do I say that? As I told, there are many functions and the problem could rise anywhere. So you need to show that ownership as a product manager, that you own that problem and you need a solution for that. So it's very important to have this as one of your skill. The second one is the sense of urgency. Certain decision needs to be taken very early in the cycle of product life cycle. So that becomes very critical. So you need to show that urgency. Since everyone looks at product manager at the end of the day for any problems they have, if you show that sense of urgency, I think it would definitely rub on other functions as well. So having that is very critical as well. Defining problem statement, I think that's the most critical one. You need to spend more time understanding the problem. I think that's very important as a product manager. It's very easy when you get on to the work on day to day to skip that part and try to understand the solution faster, because you want to reach faster to the market, have launches much faster. But understanding the problem is very, very important. So spending more time analyzing the problem is key, I would say. And understanding the problem from customer point of view is very, very critical. So these are the three elements what I would say entrepreneurship should have. So we talked about natural interest, we talked about entrepreneurship. The third element, which is also very critical, is customer empathy. You need to understand your customer very, very well. And your mind should be in such a way that at any point of time you should think about your end customer, your end user, as you get on to your day-to-day activities. When you're developing a feature or a component of a product, I think it's very important that you always have that frame of mind of a customer when you're actually tackling those problems. It's very, very important. The only way to get customer empathy is to spend more time with the customers. I would say easily around 20 to 30% of your time, product management time, product managers' time should be spent with the customers, trying to understand what workflow they have, what is their pain points, and then so on. I think without spending more time with the customer, I think there is no way you can actually give a product what they are expecting, right? So customer empathy becomes a very critical one. So I think we have covered the first category, the mindset and the attitude. Three things what I recommend: your natural interest towards these kind of roles, then having a mindset of an entrepreneurship, and let's understand the second category, skills. What skills you need to be a successful product manager. You can divide this again into two groups or segment: the core skill and the emotional intelligence and relationship management. Under core skill, I think one is the voice of the customer. So gathering the voice of customer, documenting the voice of customer into customer user needs is very, very important. So I think every company would have their own internal tools for voice of customer, so you can go through them. We will not dig into details into these kind of tools for this video, but I guess VOC is very critical for a product manager. The second one is the product roadmap and feature prioritization. So the product manager actually owns the product roadmap. So having a very detailed product roadmap and then having the roadmap with the prioritization of features, what he wants to prioritize from 1 to 10, and making sure that this prioritization is actually done based on the return of investment for that particular feature is very, very critical, and then is very, very critical for this. The third one, I think, is product business case. So building a very good business case for the product, which actually shows the return on investment at some point of time, having to understand all the cost, direct, indirect cost of the product development of the product, and then converting that into return on investment at some point of time is very, very critical as well. So these are some of the skills that you can actually do, and there are many tools available on the internet, and also your company should have all these tools in the form of template. Market analysis is also important. Competition analysis is also very important. Pricing and revenue modeling is also very, very important. The most important thing is defining the proper KPI matrix for a product is very, very important. That is how you actually measure the success of the product. So these are some of the core competencies you should have as a product manager to be more successful. It all comes by practice. You can go through a formal training, but you can get expertise only once you actually get on to work and then learn this through the work, right? That's more about it. So the second part under core skills is emotional intelligence is very, very critical because that actually is so critical that actually makes sure it actually says whether you can be successful or not in launching the products what you desire for. As I told, there are many functions within the product management, many functions within the product, right? So you need to work with all these functions, right? And the problem could arise in any of these functions, and then you should have that authority to you would not have an authority because none of these functions report to you. They all report to their function leads, but you are responsible for the product and you own the product. So having that trust, build that trust with each of the function, building that trust with each internal stakeholders is very, very critical. And building that relationship with all the stakeholders, whether internal or external, is very, very critical. I would give an example like how many stakeholders I had in my product which I worked here, right? I had around 50 plus stakeholders, just internal stakeholders, around 50 plus internal stakeholders, and most of them were from US. So it was very, very challenging, to win the trust, to have that trust with each and every stakeholder, right? It's not easy. You need to develop it. Takes time. You need to develop it, but if you don't do that, I think you would definitely end of the day lose something, right? Because end of the day, you want the other functions to change. The only way you can enable is by building that trust and then going together as one team. So I would say that emotional intelligent relationship management is very, very critical. That actually makes or breaks a product manager to be successful. Core skills you can develop over the years. It is more into yourself. You need to spend more time to acquire that. But emotional intelligence, relationship management is actually you need to do it on during the work, and you need to establish that trust within the teams and all the functions you work for. So this is about the core skills, right? So let's summarize this. So what we did was we divided into two categories. One, I guess, the mindset and the attitude, what you need. The second was the core skills, what you need to become a successful manager. Under mindset, attitude, I gave you three elements. Your natural interest towards these kind of roles, entrepreneurship mindset, and customer empathy. Under core skills, I gave you many things like VOC and product roadmap, product prioritization, right? Business case, financial models, right? Market analysis, competition analysis, and then so on. And emotional intelligence and relationship managers, I told it's the key and the most critical one you need to have to be successful in product management. I hope this video would help many of you guys who are aspiring to a product manager. Please do share your comments and any questions you have. We can take it up one-on-one. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.